Okay, I know that I'm so passionate about fasting, but I gotta do a video on the dark side of fasting. I know, it's like me trying to tell you something that's wrong with one of my children. I love them both. It's very hard to find their negative qualities. Well, same thing with fasting. A little bit hard to find some of the negative qualities because there's so many positive ones. But I think it's time we have this conversation. I've got 6, and I love fasting. And so if you are experiencing any of these following 6 issues, then I want to give you some solutions, some fasting lifestyle solutions. First thing I want to remind you is that there's really one focus with fasting, and that is to put your body in a healing state, okay? Fasting is not a diet. It is a healing state you're putting your body in, very much like sleep. Sleep is a healing state, putting your body in. So with that in mind, how could any healing state be bad? Well, a fever is a healing state, but there can be dangerous edges to too high of a fever and things to look out for with a fever. So that's how I really approach this, is really looking at, okay, what potentially could be going wrong here with your fasting lifestyle. The second thing I want to say before I dive into these 6 is I hope those of you that have been following me for some time understand that what I'm teaching you is a formula for fasting. So with Fast Like a Girl, I taught the formula for women. This is the formula, and this is why so many of you are getting great results using the principles I taught in here, is because there was a formula that nobody gave you. And when I go through some of these 6 things, the reason they're showing up is because people aren't following the formula. But again, I'm going to show you the solutions. So here we go. First, dark side of intermittent fasting. You could gain weight. How could that be? Wait, isn't everybody coming to fasting to lose weight? How could a dark side of fasting be that you are gaining weight? So when you fast the same way over and over and over again, your body stops adapting. So it would be like going to the gym and exercising the same way over and over and over again. So if you were fasting and you lost weight and then all of a sudden you started to gain weight, I want you to ask yourself, am I varying my fasting length enough? We saw this so much here on YouTube with so many people who love the 1 meal a day. Put it in the comments if you love the 1 meal a day. They got so obsessed with 1 meal a day, that's all they did is eat 1 meal a day for months and months and months. They lost a bunch of weight in the beginning and then they started to gain it back. So if that's you, we got to vary the fast. Other part of that is that sometimes we gain weight because our detox pathways are shut. So make sure, I've done a lot of videos on detox pathways. I put a whole section on detox pathways here in the book so you can learn how to open those up. So if you want to stop gaining weight with fasting, if that's you, let's make sure we're varying the fast and we're opening up the pathway. Number 2, dark side. This one's inevitable, everybody. I just want to say, probably going to happen to you, happen to me, happen to everybody. And that is flu-like symptoms. Yep, they called it keto flu. It's just a detox reaction that a lot of times, remember, when you put yourself in this healing fasted state, there's an intelligence inside those cells that are going to figure out if this cell is repairable or not. And if it's not repairable, it's going to get rid of that cell. Hallelujah. Thank you. We want the bad cells out. So when the body detoxes these cells and pushes them out, sometimes we get brain fog, sometimes we get GI problems like constipation, and we get diarrhea, and sometimes we get joint pain, and sometimes we're tired, and sometimes we get rashes. Yes, all of that is normal, and it is the dark side, really big dark side of fasting in the beginning. And the trick to overcome this is we got to open up your pathways. Again, tons of info about that in Fast Like a Girl, but it's usually a beginner's issue. And that's not like if this is happening to you now, I'm not saying that like you're a novice at this. I'm saying in the beginning, when you first come to fasting, oftentimes these things show up. But if you hang in there, it gets better and better and better. I promise. Okay. Third one. Ooh, this is so good. This is what I've been wanting to talk to you all about. And I feel like we finally can talk about it. Maybe you're getting thyroid problems. Okay, everybody who told you not to fast, or every single one of your friends that's not fasting because of thyroid problems, send them this video. Here is the skinny on thyroid issues. When we start to learn to metabolically switch in and out, one of the biggest challenges is we often stop getting hungry. If you have not experienced that yet, that might sound like a dream you cannot wait to have, but it is not that of a great of a place. I mean, it's not to me, it is a dark side because you still need food for nutrients and you need food for your thyroid. So here's the research on the thyroid. There's 2 studies that I have for you. I have them linked in the notes because a lot of you need to bring them to your doctors. You need to educate other health professionals around because it's time we blow this myth about thyroid and fasting up and we get serious about how do we actually apply a proper fasting lifestyle to a thyroid problem. And here's what we know. Thyroid requires a certain amount of calories. This is one of the rare places I'm going to talk to you about calories. So there was a study, one of the studies I'm putting in here, where they brought a person's calories down to 400 calories in that day. And they saw reverse T3 go up and they saw T3 go down. Yes, it affected adversely the thyroid. So if you're eating 400 calories a day because you're fasting all the time and you're doing 1 meal a day perhaps, that's a problem. You need more than 400 calories a day. Now in this study, what they did is they actually brought people up to 1,000 calories and all of a sudden the changes to the thyroid were a whole lot better. So we also know if you get your calories too low, you're going to spike cortisol too high. Thyroid doesn't love cortisol just like progesterone doesn't love cortisol. So remember, if we're going to work with cortisol and use it to our advantage, little doses here and there is fine, but for the thyroid, long term, that's not good. Okay? So, and how would you know this? You would know this because maybe you're getting like a thyroid storm, like you can feel like anxious and heart palpitations. That would tell you your thyroid. Or maybe you go to your doctor and you get your blood work and your doctor's like, ooh, your thyroid's really off. And they probably only look at TSH. So they look at TSH and they're like, it's really bad. What are you doing? And you say, oh, well, the only thing I've been doing is fasting. And they're like, stop the fasting, stop. Yes, because they didn't go into the nuance and look at how many calories you need. Please, let's get over 1,200 calories a day for better thyroid health. You can match that with a fasting window and your thyroid will be very happy. Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy. Number 4, this is my jam, cycle changes. This is what I wrote a whole book, 83,000 words for you on why we need to vary our fast according to our hormones. If you're a woman, you will start noticing spotting, your cycle disappears. You're gonna find, or maybe even, one of the big ones is like all of a sudden when you do get your cycle, you're like, you can't get out of bed for days, or maybe there's like heavy bleeds or a lot of clotting. That is a sign that you are not fasting right. It doesn't mean you stop fasting, but again, I'm not going to go into it on this video because I wrote you a whole book for it, but fasting like a girl will absolutely prevent these cycle changes. But that is a dark side of fasting because when we're not doing it right, that's what can show up, is really bad PMS, loss of cycles, a lot of spotting, a lot of anxiety, all that kind of stuff. Which leads me to number 5 is for my perimenopausal women and my menopausal, postmenopausal women, is that all of a sudden your mood symptoms go up. You're anxious, you're depressed. Okay, again, you're not following the fasting formula that I'm teaching, and that can be a problem with, and a dark side to fasting is that you are not varying it. And I've got, for my menopausal friends, I've got a whole book specific for you, and I talk about fasting in here and how to build a lifestyle that keeps those symptoms in balance, and so they don't overwhelm you. Okay, so that would be number 5. Okay, number 6. This is my, outside the thyroid, I'm like, God, I've been waiting to talk to you all about this. Number 6 is muscle wasting. I'm fasting, I've lost weight, I feel amazing, but I can't hold on to muscle. I go and I share that with a friend, and a friend says, didn't you know that fasting actually eats muscle away? Let's just unpack this for a moment. The only reason you would lose muscle while you're fasting is because of two reasons. One, you are not varying your fast enough. You'll see a general theme in this whole, all the dark sides, not varying enough, and you are not eating enough protein. So if you are trying to build muscle, if you are fasting and you feel like it's breaking muscle down, what's your protein load? Specifically, that first meal needs to be around 20 to 30 grams of protein, and then you need to be eating at least for every, and this is States numbers, every pound of body weight, you need to have a gram of protein at least, minimum. So I'm 130 pounds. I should have 130 grams of protein every single day. That takes work. So if you're losing muscle, it's not because of fasting. It's because you didn't vary it or you're not eating enough protein. Okay, I feel like that was like therapy for me. Thank you so much. I just see what I see where you guys get in hurdles. I read your comments on socials. And then you start, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and then there's a bunch of people out there like, fasting's bad, fasting's bad. Let's stop making absolutes. There's a formula to fasting that if you follow it, you can build muscle, you can lose weight, you can bring all your metabolic markers where you want them to be, you can feel incredible. But if you're not following the formula. If your thyroid's tanking, you're not following the formula. It's that easy. Okay? There. Enough said. I feel better. How about you? Hope that helps. I know you're struggling to lose weight. It may be your fasting length. So in this video, I'm going to show you the perfect fasting length to unstick weight loss. In fact, it's such an incredible tool for weight loss. I think you should start with fasting before you change your food to be able to get into that door in for losing weight.